Welcome back to the Sound for More channel. It's Leo speaking. Today I have the pleasure to start a new series of tutorials on Suggestor 2. Before I continue, I would like to remind my viewers to subscribe as it helps with growing the channel. Thank you very much. Okay, so Suggestor 2 is a fantastic tool which allows you not just only to create chord progressions and also organize those based on different songs, but it also allows you to actually release your creativity and enhance actually your knowledge of chords, progression, and also use for example, or take advantage of classic chord progression inside the app. It can run as a standalone mode, as you can see now. At the moment, I just launched it and it is asking to create a document on a folder of your choice, but you can also run it inside a host like AUM, Logic Pro, Cubase, etc., as an AUV3 plugin. Okay, let's click on create a document. As you can see, we'll create a new document. It will show you this window where it will ask you to actually choose an instrument that you would like to use for your work. And you can click on one of them, like keyboards and guitars. And when you click on one of them, it will give you a preview what it sounds like. When you selected the instrument, you click Done and you are inside the app. You can see that we are in standalone mode because you can see this part up here with the title of the file. It says Untitled Free, and if you click on this button here, you can remove that part, the title at the top, which gives you a little bit more space, which is always useful. Now, this is the first video in the series, so I'm going to give you an introduction to the app, and then we will progress with some further explanation in the upcoming videos. Okay, so let's move to AUM. The first thing I want to show you is let's create a MIDI channel and also an audio channel. Let's start with the audio channel and let's search for Suggestor there, like so. And as you can see, you can load it as an AUV3 instrument, right? And then you can start working on it. The other thing as well that you can also do, you can load it as a MIDI processor. Again, you search for Suggestor 2 like so, and then what you do, you just create another channel and choose your preferred AUV3 in there, and then you link the two like so, right? So, and you will of course work to you will drive this AUV3 instance from the Suggestor MIDI processor instance. So it's up to you how you want to use it. So it gives you a great choice. Now, for the purpose of this tutorial, let's focus on the audio unit instrument. But again, you don't have to. As I said, you can also decide to use different to use a Suggestor 2 as a MIDI processor. Okay, so let's open it up. As you can see, you have a keyboard at the top. Then you have on the left hand side a part where it says song with different options, and it's saying at the moment that the song is empty, you need to select the scale, further option at the bottom, and then on the right hand side you have a different type of menu which you can access here, where you click on chord suggestion. You can go to scale, degree, borrow chord, classic progression, modulation, chord builder, chord detector, and alter ratio based on the chords, for example, that you have selected. Very nice. So let's start with selecting a scale. You click on select scale and you have this dialog, and here it says you are in C major, and it shows you all the different notes as part of that scale. You can click on play, and it shows you also the range here. Then you have two selections, standard or custom, and under standard you can select the root note, and then you can select the scale as well. And you have a lot of different options you can select from. So natural minor, you see all the relevant keys highlighted, and then again you have the opportunity to play again. So you can always hear the scale before you start using it. Of course, you can go to custom, and you still have a root note, and then you can define a title for that custom scale. And then here you have your formula. It says here are the intervals, and then you can choose which interval you want to actually play. You can say, okay, the second will be a flat. Okay, or I don't want the second, or I still want the second, but I make it a sharp like so. And you can see the difference here. You can still play. And this is quite nice to create your own scale and then work with that scale. Okay, but let's go back to standard C minor. And let's click done. Okay, as you can see now on the left hand side, it says C minor. Okay, C natural minor. Okay, you have the symbol in terms of scale, and you have a text box here, and you have an edit menu as well. When you click on it, you have ability to select here, to click and hold, to move up and down, and of course also to delete, which will ask you a confirmation. When you finish, you can click done. You can click on the plus sign here, and you can add section, marker, rest, etc., etc. We'll go through all of that. Then you have options here to select a new scale, or also to detect the scale, or to transpose the song up and down, which is really great. And you have a lot of different options here at the bottom, like if you want the your arpeggio, on and off your loop, on and off the instrument sound, if you want on and off the metronome sound, etc., etc. You can click here, and it gives you the ability to change the instrument. Further settings here, which will spend more time to go through those in particular. Here the keys, in terms of what you have unlocked for your license. You can click on this document icon to export or import the document. You can click on the eye to have a little bit of information. Now, on the right hand side, we have a chord suggestion for this particular scale. So you can say C minor. So you can click on it, and you can have a preview of that chord. And you can see also the Roman numeral on the left hand side of each chord. When you like one, click on the plus sign, and that chord will be added on the left hand side, and you can continue like so, and then you can create a little bit of a progression, and when you finish, click on play. Now it's not going on a loop. Remember, click down here and activate loop. And it will go in a loop mode, which is fantastic. Okay, here you have triad. This section is triad, which you can also collapse. Okay, then you have your seventh, C minor with the seventh. Okay, then you have a secondary dominant, and you have a lot of other different options. This is actually where you really enhance your knowledge, your music and theory knowledge, and also where you can explore different chords that you can use in your chord progression, right? You have this icon here at the top, so you can actually click to move up and down by octave. You can see the symbol here. Of course, you can move it down as well if you like. You can also use inversion, okay, and it will show you the inversion for each chord. And you can also set the default mode for the arpeggio off, up, down, skip up, skip down. Again, we'll come back to it. And then you click on reset to reset the values. Okay, so this is actually really, really nice. You can click on alter here on a chord, and then it gives you the ability to alter that particular chord in terms of quality. Again, a lot of different options for that particular chord in terms of voicing, okay, in terms of alternate bass, in terms of intervals as well. And we go through these in more details as we progress through the series of tutorial, okay? Other things you can do, if you click on the plus sign, you can say, for example, add a section marker, and you can see the section which is there, which is quite clever. And then what you can do, you can still add chord, which is really nice. Okay, so you can still say here chord suggestion, and then you can still add other chords, and like so. I'm just making it up at the moment. Okay, and now if you play, it is still in loop mode. Let's see what happens. So we'll play in loop the first 4 chords plus the last 3 in the section. But here's the thing, you can click on the 3 buttons here, you can change the name, but you can also change the play count. Let's see what happens now. So as you can see now, it's playing this section twice. And for example, you can say, play these, change the name of these to a particular part of a song as you actually define it. So that's the beauty of actually having different sections here on your song. And of course, you can also add, for example, rest. You might want to actually have a rest, and you might have it before the section if you prefer so. So really great, really nice. Other things you can do, for example, you can say, let's have the arpeggiato on in up mode. Rewind, play. As you can see, lots and lots of different options. And of course, remember, you can use these to push MIDI out, and therefore the codes that at the moment you hear through the internal instrument, you can actually use Suggestor 2, as I mentioned earlier on, as a MIDI processor, and therefore you can drive those codes to play external instrument, whether they are a software instrument or whether they are hardware instrument, up to your choice. As I said earlier, also you have different type of other suggestion. For example, you can go on a classic progression, which you might want to copy, add, etc. You can also go to scale degrees, okay? And then you can see all the degrees for each of the different scales. You can go to modulation, okay? Parallel scale, related scale, etc., etc. You can go to chord builder, where you actually can build your own chord, which is great, absolutely fantastic. You can detect an incoming note through MIDI input, and therefore you can detect a chord. And as I said, you've seen the alteration mode based on the chords that you have selected. Of course, you select one, and then you click on the check here icon, and it will replace the chord that you have selected. Okay, I'm going to stop here. This was just a short introduction on how to use Suggestor 2. I definitely recommend it. It's one of those other tools which compete a little bit with progressions from 4 pockets. It competes a little bit with Scalar 2. Perhaps it competes with a combination maybe of the bud ups, although the bud ups don't really have the same level of theoretical music notation and representation. But of course, you can use them together to do something similar. What you have here, for example, using chord bud 2, harp bud 2, etc., etc. But I see this more in the area of Scalar 2 progression as a type of alternative. The thing I really like of these compared to, for example, Scalar 2 and progression is the representation here on the left-hand side of the different chords. It really looks neat. It really looks neat in terms of how easy it is to use. On the other hand, it doesn't have the same option with Scalar 2 and progression, so there's always pros and cons with applications in the music domain. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye.